Hey yo, what's good everybody? It's your boy Matthew Maley for MatthewMaley.com. Well, I'm coming at you with another poker recap video. I apologize, I didn't take it at the series. I actually was planning on it, but ended up getting caught up in a couple other things and watching some action. Next thing I know, it's a little bit late and I couldn't really find a good spot to do a video. So I decided we would do it here. So I played another $235 2 p.m. daily deep stack at the World Series of Poker. As you guys know, or if you haven't seen my previous video, I'll give you a little update of the structure. It's the World Series runs 3 deep stacks each day. So one is $165, one's $185, and the other is a $235 at 2 p.m., 6 p.m., and 10 p.m. And they're actually really good tournaments in terms of, you start off with at least 15,000 chips, which is pretty solid, for that buy-in. Blinds are 30 minutes. Again, pretty solid. The blinds do jump a little quickly, 25, 50, 50, 100, 100, 200, 100, 200 with an ante, then 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 8, and I haven't made it past 4-8, so I don't know. But and those obviously have antes in them as well. But I think it's actually a pretty solid tournament. I like it. It's got a pretty good structure, pretty good potential return on investment. The one I played previously had 1,400 people, and that ended up paying, I want to say, like 58,000 for first place. So pretty solid. Sadly, I wasn't even around long enough to see the finalized numbers from this one. But just to preface this, let's just say that I don't know how many more times I can lose to 2 or 3 outers before I just quit. And I don't think I ever would really quit playing poker. I mean, short of it having like a, actual detrimental effect on my life or my family or something like that, but it's really tough, I mean, I can truly say that it's the first time that my resolve for the game of poker has ever shaken a little bit. And I understand everybody does run badly sometimes, and I get that. But it seems like, for the past 2-3 years, the times when I've run badly has been at the series. And that's just tough, to deal with when I'm watching somebody like Phil Ivey pull down 5 final tables in 10 days. I believe, I'm not even saying I'm within the same stratosphere as somebody like Phil Ivey, but in the same sense, I find myself to be at least a decent player, and when it's just one of those things of what can you do? And that's what's so difficult, is when you play the hand exactly how any pro would play it. You do everything the way that you're supposed to, and you still lose. It's tough, and it's tough to just keep saying, oh, that's poker. Oh, that's poker. Well, that's poker. It's difficult, and while I know that I need to stay positive, I have to stay positive, because if I don't, I mean, you go into it with a negative mindset, there's no point in even playing, But at the same sense, it's also a little difficult to keep, showing back up at the felt when every single time you keep getting brutalized. And I mean, as you guys have seen from my previous, recaps, there have been some mistakes and misplays by me. I admit that. But at the same time, it seems like every single session I've had, I've lost to a 2 or 3 outer, and it makes it difficult. When I've seen people, go months of playing without having the aces or kings cracked, or months of playing without, having any kind of cooler hand. It seems like I'm getting at least one cooler every single time. So we'll get into the actual breakdown of the tournament. I ended up one hand that one of the first hands I played, I had ace king, and ended up made a standard raise. I believe I was 1 or 2 away from the button. I did have position, I know that, but the blinds at this point were 5,100, and I made it to 350. I had 2 callers, big blind, and I would want to say the person who called from under the gun post 2, I think. Flop came out, I want to say, yeah, it was 10-9-4 rainbow. So it went check, check to me. I put in a pretty standard continuation bet of, sorry, of, I want to say, I bet 800, 750 or 800. Yeah, I think it was 800 because the pot had like 1100, 1150 in it. So I believe that I bet about 800. And the big blind folded, but the under the gun plus 2 or whatever called. So, you know, I'm at this point, I'm thinking maybe you have, you know, maybe as top pair, maybe as a straight draw, but I'm thinking, you know, I don't know, I also could see maybe a middle pair, lower pair, whatever, or potentially just trying to float me and, you know, take the pot down. So I very easily could have given up with the hand there, but I don't know, I felt like I had potential, you know. I mean, if an ace hits, I'm feeling I'm definitely good. If a king hits, I'm feeling I'm definitely good. Yeah, if he has, you know, jack, if he does have queen jack, and the king hits, I'm screwed, but whatever. So I end up, made the bet, gets called, whatever. Turn card hits a queen. So now, you know, I've got a gut shot, but I don't necessarily feel, you know, great about it. So he again checks to me. So I'm figuring, you know what, let's take it one more shot. Technically, if you did have, you know, the jack 8 flush draw that got there, if you had queen, I mean straight draw, if you had queen jack with the straight draw, queen got there. But I still was figuring, you know what, I'll take one last shot. So I fired like 1400 into the pot, and he came over the top and made it like $4 grand or something like that. So I thought about it for a minute, kind of Hollywooding it, but I really wasn't planning on calling at all. I mean, you know, at that point, I'm banking on hitting the gut shot. Because of that, I really don't even know, you know, if he's already sitting there on a mate straight, you know, really, what am I drawn to? So I didn't know how many outs I truly had to win the pot. So I ended up, I thought about it for a minute, but I ended up letting it go. And as the guy mucked it, because he's on the other side of the table from me, he kind of like, almost did kind of like one of those like, yeah, I took the pot, kind of arrogant type of mucks, kind of flipped his cards up, and I actually saw it, ace queen. So, you know, 3-outer, got there. And I know there were plenty of other potentials with that, you know. So I'm not saying that I would have won the pot anyway, you know, whatever. I would have rather he, you know, as he flipped it up, he'd had bottom pair, honestly, rather than ace queen and hitting his 3-outer. So thus is life, you know, but it is what it is. So that hand took me down probably, I was at about like 14,000 before that hand, and that one took me down to probably about like 11.5 or so. I think I lost probably about like 2,500 to 3,000 with that hand. So then the hand that really, really hurt me was I had pocket nines, and blinds were 100, 200 at this point. They had just changed to 100, 200. And I ended up, I was on the button with pocket nines. The under the gun plus like 2 called, then under the gun plus like 4 or 5 raised to 500. Kind of a weird raise, you know, when somebody's already called and the blinds are 100, 200, you know, kind of a weird raise. Didn't really know how to process it, to be quite honest. It came to me, and I had pocket nines at a 9 of diamonds and 9 of spades. I ended up making the call. You know, I'm fine in that position with nines. Part of me almost felt like raising, but I really, you know, was trying to play a little bit more small ball. You know, I wasn't specifically trying to set mine, but was figuring, you know, depending on what the texture of the board hits, I can probably throw in a check raise. I'm sorry, I could probably throw in a raise on the flop and take down the pot, short of an ace or whatever hitting, which if I re-raise now, and you know, this guy's probably going to call with most ace whatever type of hands, so then if it hits on the flop anyway, I'm in the same position. So I figured, you know what, let's just put, excuse me, I've got hiccups. I figured, let's just play small ball with it, whatever. So I call the guy in under the gun plus 2. I'm really trying to stop these hiccups. I don't think I've ever gotten hiccups in one of my videos before. He also calls. So the flop comes up, Jack 8-4. Alright? I feel pretty decent about my nines. I mean, sure, if you sit on ace jack, I'm drawn dead, damn near. But I felt pretty decent about it. So the guy who was under the gun +2 or whatever, he checks. This dude fires like 1250 into the pot. And I think about it for a little while, and I think about it and mull over the decision for a little while, but I end up feeling that, you know what, this guy is making this type of a play with like an ace-king, ace-queen type of hand. I personally just had it in my mind he had not paired up at all. I had it. So I ended up making the call. Possibly should I have raised there? That's what I'm going to ask you guys. I ended up making the call, and to my surprise, the guy who was under the gun +2 also makes the call. And that throws me off. That I'm really like kind of befuddled. I feel that he might have an 8, and you know maybe has a hand like ace-8, something like that. I don't put him on 2-pair, though I could see the slow play, whatever. But I didn't put him on that. I also didn't really put him on the straight draw. That would have just been, to have 10-9 in that spot, maybe, but I don't know, I just didn't put him on that. I put him on a little bit, better holding, maybe of an ace-queen type of hand as well, and you just calling to float the river, or figure just 2 overcards. I mean, sorry, calling to float the turn. It's late, I apologize, guys. Turn card hits, I believe it was a 2. A totally inconsequential card. I mean, a card of, if you had it on the flop, you still had it. So this time they both check, and it goes to me, and I end up betting, I want to say like, oh no, I'm sorry, I actually check as well. My mistake right here. I should have taken a shot at it just to see where I was at. Just like, in my opinion, I very well could have raised on the flop and didn't. And this as soon as I checked, I felt that I had missed an opportunity to bet, which usually when you have that feeling, you did. So river card hits another 8, and as soon as that card hits, I just felt that I lost. I felt that all of a sudden this guy was sitting there with ace-8 got there, So he ends up taking the lead. I'm sorry, no, he checks to me, and other guy checks. No, I'm sorry. I take all that back. The guy leads out. He ends up leading out for like 3,200, I think. And the seat, whatever, folds. He gets the hell out of the hand, which I'm assuming he probably did have a hand like ace-king, ace-queen. And it gets to me, and I thought about it for a while, and I couldn't let it go. And I really didn't, I mean, now hindsight, of course, I think, oh, well, it makes perfect sense that he had the 8. Call the flop, check the turn. Oh, it got better on the river. Bet it. Get a good value bet. And he bet enough to where it, it kept me. It wasn't too much. If he'd shoved, I would have let it go. If he would have bet, 1,000, I probably would have let it go, just because that seems shaky to me. But the bet with ace-queen in that spot, the bet of like $3,000 or 2,800, whatever it was, made me feel that it could be a hand like ace-king, ace-queen, just knowing that he can't win without betting. Maybe, it was some bottom pair type of thing, maybe, I don't know. I really don't know what I was thinking at the end of the day, but I talked myself into the call, and I think there might have been a little bit of an ego type of a hero feeling there, feeling like, oh, I make this hero call with pocket nines, whatever, which really wouldn't even be that great of a hero call. But I ended up making the call, and I even said, like, as I made the call, I'm like, I feel like you got there, and I roll it over, and he does, he rolls over on 8. But what really got to me, I would have been perfectly fine if he would have had ace-8. Yeah, it would have sucked. Yeah, he hit it again, pulled a 2-outer out of it. But what really pissed me off is he had 9-8. So not only had he called out of position, not in the blinds, pre-flop, then called a raise. I'm fine with calling the raise because, I had called as well, so whatever. He had decent pot odds. But, I mean, that just surprised me. Like, to have called that anyway, pre-flop, 9-8 offsuit. And then ended up, getting there. And, of course, why couldn't he have hit 2-pair? Hit 2-pair, I double up. He just, of course. It's just funny. It's just funny sometimes. It's just how it goes, And so he hits another 2-outer, and I lose to another 2-outer. So Yeah, I had some bad luck, but I also misplayed it. I mean, I could have gotten away from it. I should have gotten away from it, but I just got it kind of set in my mind that this was going to be a pot that I had won. Once I made the call on the flop, and I really felt I was good. I don't know. I don't know. That's just, that hand ate at me for a while. I actually had to get up from the table for a little while because mentally that one kind of got to me. Um, so I ended up had a couple other hands that didn't really, get there. I had one hand where I flopped a flush draw, bet it down, didn't get anything. So that cost me some more chips. I had a hand that I actually picked up with, it was 2 off the button with king queen, and I raised. Everybody folded around to me and took down the blinds and antes. Then I had another time with king queen it was under the gun +2, and I'd actually been kind of playing my a lot of those type of hands. I'd been playing them really slow and trying to keep the pot small because king queen early position really isn't that great of a hand. So I've been calling the big blind a lot and then simply playing small ball with it. The only thing you run into with that is then if somebody raises, now you're calling a raise out of position with the marginal hand, really hoping that you hit a good flop. Which I actually had a hand like that happen where I called out of position. I think it was under the gun +2 with king queen offsuit, and then got around. It was popped, but the guy pushed all in, so I let it go. Had another hand with jack 9 suited that I tried to make a little something happen. Got repopped, so let that go. But then I just had, I mean, literally pretty much the entire first round, most of the second round outside of the ace king versus ace queen hand. And then most of the third round, every other hand would be king 3, queen 4, jack, deuce. It's just ridiculous type of hands, And again, I know things run that way, but it was just crazy. And every time, just like with my last couple sessions, first card I look at would be the king or the ace or the queen or the jack. I'm thinking, okay, same or better, same or better, same or better, 4. Same or better, deuce. Same or better, 5. Same or better, 6. It was tough. So, ended up, after literally, I mean, probably 4 or 5 rounds around the table of not even having anything to defend my button, or my blinds with, or play my button, I ended up picking up king 9 suited of spades in the big blind. And at this point, I had just about 7,000 chips left. Blinds are 100, 200, and they had just brought in the $25 ante probably 5 hands before. So guy probably under the gun +3 smooth calls, comes around, dealer calls, and then small blind folds, and I check. And I almost thought about raising, almost thought about it, but I was like, you know what, again, I don't have that big of a spot, that big of a chip stack, might as well keep it small ball, whatever. So flop hits king 10, I want to say like 2, 3, 4, it was inconsequential. And I'm thinking, all right, top pair, kicker, but whatever, top pair. And after you've, had literally 20 plus straight hands of, I mean, just absolute dreck, you see something like that and you're like, all right, here we go, top pair, I got this. Plus where I was at with chips, I mean, you figure my M at that point was what, like almost 14, not quite 14. So really at a spot like that with top pair, you're probably going most of the way. So it came to me and I actually let out, and I bet, I want to say, let's say I bet 600. I bet 600 into it. I specifically remember that because it was I think a $650 or $700 pot. So I bet 600 into it, and the guy came back over the top and raised it 2,000. He made it 2,600. And really, as soon as I saw him raising, I just felt that, this is my hand I'm going to go down with. If he's got ace king, I'm screwed, whatever. That just is what it is. If he has a better king, that's screwed. I'm screwed, whatever. But I'd pretty much already decided that I was, I didn't have enough chips to get away from it. So I hit my top pair. I got to kind of go with it. And so I end up shoving. He insta-calls. So I, roll over my king 9 and he kind of slow rolled me, kind of a douchebag. trying to kind of, yeah, I believe in my mind he was trying to, show, oh, look at how good of a play I made. And he rolls over bullets. Like, rolls over bullets. So I can't even say that I misplayed the hand as much as he just outplayed me, which I can admit, he played the hand well. He got lucky as well because, playing bullets like that is a scary prospect. I actually was talking to my boy Bill about it afterwards. And when you play bullets in that way, you have to be a very good post-flop player, and you have to be able to let him go. He simply just, had a horseshoe in his ass. The fact that, one of the other two people in the pot just so happened to hit top pair and had a small enough chip stack that he couldn't get away from it. So, I mean, it's definitely a scary way of playing bullets like that. And it can be very costly. I've played him like that a few times. But you've got to be very, very careful with him. And he played him well. Shout out to Dude. I mean, he outplayed me with him, so congrats. But at the end of the day, it was a very shitty tournament. I believe I won 2 hands in like 2 hours. And it was painful, honestly. Like, it was very painful. And, like I said, I know that that's how it goes sometimes. Like, I get it. That's poker. But, like, I'm just, I want one good session, and I know it sounds like I'm some little crybaby, some crybaby. Oh, why can't I get some good luck? But it really is tough, when you want something so badly, and like everything's lined up for you, between losing the job, coming out here, having a place out here, building up the bankroll, having the series happen. Like, this is the 1 month that I needed to have a good run. Even if I didn't have a good run, I just needed to not run badly. You know what I mean? Like, even if I didn't have some, like, Darvin Moon or Jamie Gold type of good run, I needed to at least not get cold deck after cold deck, or, 2 and 3 outered after 2 and 3 outered. But it is what it is, All I can do is just keep going back and keep trying and try and stay as positive as I can, So there's still a few, some good events left. Couple more 1500s that I really am trying to play. All it comes down to is just building up my bankroll. So anybody out there and knows some rich people that want to sponsor an up-and-coming poker player, holla at me. Or if you want to buy some of my action, let me know. Shout out to my boy Bill for taking a part of this action. Sorry, it was a loser. But I know after I just talked about how horrible I've been running, is really anybody going to stake me? Probably not. But at the end of the day, I'm still out here loving what I'm doing, and even a bad day of poker is still a better day of sitting in a cube at Wells Fargo. Honestly, it's costly. At least with Wells Fargo I'm getting money as opposed to losing money, but whatever. It's still something I enjoy doing, and I love it a lot more than what I had been. So there you go, poker recap. Sorry I went on kind of long there. I apologize. But that equals another losing session. I was going to play a little bit of cash, but yeah, I don't know about that. I'm thinking about actually going and playing over at Harrah's. They're running a main event giveaway tournament. If you play 40 hours before the end of June at Harrah's, they run a free roll. It's a 20K free roll where first prize ends up getting a 10K main event seat, as well as the other, I want to see the other 20 people. I'll get $500. Top 20 places. So not bad. I mean, definitely not bad. So I'm thinking I'm going to probably go play a little bit of that and try to grind it up. Plus, I'll be watching a lot of 50K, the 50K Poker Players Championship, just because it's fun. And I'll probably be doing some live tweeting and some live updates from that. I'm gonna try and watch the final table, pretty much the whole thing. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure you'll be seeing lots of updates from there. So there you go. There's my video update. Hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you guys think about that hand with the 9s. Do you think I should have re-raised on the flop? Or maybe even did I miss a bet on the turn? And also, do you think I could have gotten away from it on the river? Let me know. Always want to find out what you guys think. Also, in terms of, ace king versus ace queen, do you recommend that the guy should have called with ace queen on the flop? I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just trying to float it and take me down on the turn, and then he got there. So I don't know. I long for the days, the way poker, is supposed to happen, where you raise pre-flop, get a couple callers, everybody checks to you on the flop, you bet, you take it down. Where are those days? I need to be Phil Ivey so that when I bet, people run away, or I can stare into their souls. Something like that. Anyway, I'm officially signing off. Thank you as always for checking out my videos. I am Matthew Maley for MatthewMaley.com. As always, you can check out all my videos on MatthewMaley.com. Check out the video blog tab. Or you can check me out right up on YouTube. Search for Matthew Maley Poker. Got everything up on there where you can like, you can comment, and you can subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter at Matthew Maley. And of course, as always, like your boy's page on Facebook or search for Matthew Maley Poker. And until the next video, I am signing off. Hope everybody had a great weekend and get back to the grind tomorrow. Peace out, y'all.